Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll Legacy video. Today I am practicing for Eternal Weekend. This league sponsored by nobody. I'm working on my own time today. Got an event to prepare for, and nobody had a dealer's choice in the canon. If you appreciate Tryhard content leading up to important events, be sure to hit that thanks button down at the bottom of the screen. Anyway, this is Hot Bant, and this list looks a little different than my last one. I'm going to run this video on Monday, which is the day after Eternal Weekend America is over. You will already know if I did well or not based on the event coverage by the time you're seeing this, but this is me dialing in my list a couple days before I leave for that event. The Patreon will, of course, have this list before the tournament instead of after it. I also dropped a Hot Bant sideboard guide on Patreon a couple days ago. That is available over there. This list has some differences from the last one I ran, and that's because Matthew Vuk, Ozymandias17, won the Legacy Showcase Challenge last weekend with Hot Bant, and he made some pretty good innovations to the shell. The first one, to dress down in the main. In my last video, I added a dress down to the sideboard to help address White Stompy, or Initiative Stompy, whatever we're calling that deck, White Initiative. But he added a second one to the main and a Torpor Orb to the sideboard, just really not messing around. Across the dress downs, Torpor Orbs, and Force of Wills, you have 7 answers to their 8 initiative creatures. There's a pretty good chance that you just keep the initiative from ever being introduced to the game, and then you just have to beat a Moby Stompy deck, which we're pretty good at doing anyway. We love battling against creatures. We don't love battling against the initiative mechanic, and this list is well set up to do that. Another critical innovation that Matthew figured out is that this deck probably doesn't want Narset anymore. 8-cast is not that popular. Elves cut Glimpse of Nature. It's too slow against Doomsday. Every control deck plays Pyroblast. We boarded out against Delver anyway. It was just sort of a residual piece from earlier builds of the deck that wasn't really holding its own in the metagame anymore. You like it in Uro mirrors, but that's about it. And I'm going to miss it if I ever get paired into 8-cast or decks like that, but they're not what they once were in the metagame, so Narset is out, and that makes so much more room for activities. That's where this extra dress down came from. Matthew's list had a main deck Pyroblast, which I don't really love. I understand why it's there, but that's generally not how I like building my decks, super inbred, and I think for Eternal Weekend, compared to at least the Magic Online Challenge metagame, Pyroblast may find fewer targets. I don't know. I'm less excited about main deck Pyroblast on Magic Online than I am in real life, or the opposite. Less excited in real life than I am on Magic Online. I may or may not do this, but the list does need 3 Pyroblasts, and this frees up a sideboard slot by putting it in the main. Matthew's list that he won the event with had 4 Uro, 2 Minsc Boo, 3 Endurance, 1 Wasteland. I moved those numbers around a little bit. I have really enjoyed having 2 Wastelands in the deck. People don't expect you to go on that plan because normally you only have 1, and having the 2 really lets you lean in when it's appropriate. Minsc Boo coming in and stealing the initiative is a big thing. Plus you want this in basically every control mirror, every fair matchup. Basically against everyone who doesn't have Lightning Bolt in their deck, and even the Lightning Bolt decks, if you find a spot to squeeze it through, it's great there too. Whereas Uro has diminishing returns. The first one's important. The first one to stick is important, but you don't really want 3 or 4 of these gumming up your hand. And I do like 3 main deck endurance. You're just really respecting graveyard stuff, Delver, and Doomsday with that Reanimator, Delver, Doomsday, which are all important matchups and tough matchups, or at least matchups you don't want to lose points in. We'll see if I would want a 3rd endurance anywhere. But I did move these numbers around. We agree on 4 expressive iteration, the mana base largely intact other than the 1 extra wasteland. Matthew said Terminus was great the whole event, and I agree. Every time I've been playing this deck, I'm like, find myself in spots where Terminus is my best draw or Terminus is my only out. That's why there's another one in the sideboard. Matthew's list had 2 Force of Negation, a card that I have not been playing for quite some time now. I went down to 1. I split it with Collector Roof. Collector Roof is good in a lot of the same matchups that Force of Negation is, but it's good in a different way. And I just like to diversify my hate. You get some splash damage on 8 cast and Death and Taxes on top of the Storm kind of busted decks when you have Collector Roof, where Force of Negation doesn't overlap that well. I want 3 blue blasts, 2 hydro, 1 blue. Matthew had 2 hydro blasts, and I just want more than that because Blood Moon, Minsc and Boo mirrors, there's a lot of Price of Progress, Maddening Hex. There's a lot of really shitty red cards that can happen in this format, and I'm not interested. Matthew had 2 Carpet of Flowers. I turned 1 into Force of Vigor. I've been really impressed with Force of Vigor, both in fair and unfair matchups. My build had 2 of them. There's only 1 here. I'm going to start splitting that with Brotherhood's End, which is a card that didn't exist last time I recorded this deck. 1 red, sorcery. Brotherhood's End deals 3 damage to each creature or planeswalker, or destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Kind of covering both angles that a Meltdown and a Kozilek's Return would cover. It obviously costs more than Meltdown does for what's mostly the same effect, but hitting planeswalkers and creatures too. A modal spell is often worth more than the sum of its parts, and this is worth trying. And that's the 75. I have moved in some big ways closer to Matthew's list, but I've also tuned up some numbers that I like better, and we'll see how this all shakes out. Let's do it. I'm on the play in game 1 with a hand that could get dumpstered or could be amazing. I'm going to keep it. Any fair matchup, I love these sort of hands. Any unfair matchup, we're dead. And that's what sideboard games are for. Let's do it. It's going to fetch land go here. Moment of Truth. Ancient Tomb. Okay. All right. Chalice sucks, but it does not affect my hand currently. Also, to be determined what flavor of this deck they are. One thing I could do here is aggressively expressive iteration, looking for a Force of Will. Just treat it as Anticipate and dig for a piece of interaction. All right, it's looking like 8 cast. Oh no, some colorless mess version of this deck. All right. Okay. Terminus is going to be really good here. So is Dress Down. Stopped at 3/3. Wasteland. All right, well, I'm going to Uro out this Wasteland, waste the Saga, and then move on with my life here. Tropical Island. And I want Volcanic Island. Yeah, I want to keep my island count up in case I want a Mystic Sanctuary. Or is it okay to get Taiga here? Oh, Flooded Strand doesn't get Taiga. I would have had to think about that with Scalding Tarn. Volcanic Island it is. Uro. We're in there with the Uro, which means we're in there with the Wasteland. Just going to take out Saga. Maybe taking out Ancient Tomb also makes the Saga less effective, but I want to make sure that doesn't happen. And Drew Minsc Boo. Okay, blue mana is in this deck. And no. Bomb Honor. Gross. Well, we cut the Narsets. Let's see how bad it hurts. This would be a great turn to draw Terminus. Like I said, frequently just want to draw Terminus with this deck. There's a Brainstorm that doesn't work. I can Minsc Boo and start bashing, or I can Aggressive Iteration, try to find answer to Chalice, which then can find an answer to this other stuff. I'm gonna EI. Okay. Force of Will in my hand. EI on the bottom, exile Prismatic Ending. Play a land that can cast Uro and Prismatic Ending the Chalice. 5 cards in my graveyard, 4 mana in play. Ready to do Uro stuff. Back it up with Force of Will. They still haven't popped their Bauble. They're sitting on more Affinity cards or Kappa Cannoneer or something like that. A Re-Chalice. I am not going to fight over the Chalice. Saga's pretty good. Automaton is when you cast an artifact spell, it gets bigger, so activating Chalice doesn't do it. I'm gonna force this Kappa Cannon here. This one's too good. It's this Brainstorm I can't cast anyway. And Uro is now the same size as Automaton, but Automaton can grow larger quickly. Terminus. Guy. Blue, green, green. I'm leaving Prismatic Ending in my graveyard for Mystic Sanctuary possibilities, rather than Wasteland for lone possibilities. I got to leave one card in the graveyard there. Oof. Alright. Automaton is bigger than Uro now, and the flying creatures are rolling. Opponent is at 12, though. If they get too cute here, an Uro connection, then Minsc Boo throw the Uro is 12. Look, they got plenty of blockers, though. How about a Terminus for my troubles? I can't block one of these and won't block the other. And Terminus doesn't even win the game, is the sick joke here. I'm going to attack with Uro. If I draw Terminus after gaining 3 life, that might be enough. Wasteland comes in. Ooh, no block. That's big news. I'm going to Wasteland this Urza Saga right now in combat. I think they're dead. They have 1 card in hand. What could it even be that stops this from happening? Here's Minsc Boo. And can they auto-war here? 1, 2, 1, only 1 legendary creature? Yeah, definition of fuck around and find out. The control deck with Lava Axe in it. Pretty good stuff. Okay. Brotherhood's End comes in, Meltdown comes in, Red Blast come in, Collector Oof, Terminus, Force of Vigor. Torpor Orb's really interesting. That stops Emery and Thought Monitor, and it stops artifact creatures from triggering Kappa Cannoneer, but it's still triggered non-creature artifacts. That's wild. Okay, what's the plan here? Endurance has some text in the matchup, but not enough that I really want to make a thing out of it. I don't like Force of Will when I'm boarding in all these fair answers to this other stuff. I do generally try to beat this deck on the board or with Red Blast rather than 2-for-1ing myself. And Swords of Plowshares is good, but something else has to be cut. And I just brought in 2 Pyroblasts, Terminus, Brotherhood's End that also answer Emery. I need all the endings in for the chalices. I think I like this setup. Do it. 2 Pyroblasts and a Dress Down. This hand's pretty good. It gets a lot worse against Chalice, but let's hope they don't have it. Guaranteed, every time. Okay, hard mode activated. Versus Bauble. Mox Opal. Oh no, there's more. Well, at least they didn't cast Emery. That would have been a stern beating. It's gonna land go. I do have my Uro here. There's lots of answers to Chalice in my deck. Just saw Uro off of the Urza's Bauble. Passing the turn. They're kind of in on this turn 1 Chalice. And I mean, it's working. Can't say it's not working. I'm gonna play Tundra because this isn't a deck with Wasteland, and I can save my fetch lands for color fixing if I need it later, or Mystic Sanctuary if I need it later. 2 mana Thought Cast, which they would have cast last turn if they had it, so I just think they just drew that. I'm gonna let Emery just happen. I can't counter it, which is what I'd like to do. I could dress it down, but there's already a draw cards artifact in the graveyard. It's not a huge deal. And they just played Mox Opal, killing their other Mox Opal. What are they holding up here? Gotta be something. Here's EI. I'm gonna prioritize islands here and put Uro into play. Here is the Uro boss. Here's a Terminus. That's good news. At some point, I'll probably want that. The second I clear this Chalice, the game is a joke. Gotta get to that point before Emery draws too many cards. Monitor, can't dress this one down. Still not sure this is where I would use my dress down, even if I could. Bobbling me. Missed another land drop here. Gonna Expressive Iteration. Looking for a Prismatic Ending. I found one. Dress down in my hand on the bottom. Dial Ending. They'll land and end this Chalice. They have 7 cards in hand and they've missed land drops. Good chance they have a Force Seer to protect the Chalice. Hope they don't. But there's a good chance. I like Rebuke. Nasty. Sure. Got me. I will be Mystic Sanctuarying that back to my hand. Clearing the Chalice and then unlocking all these Pyroblasts is pretty important in my plan. I'm retargeting Mishra's Bauble again. Thought Monitor. Just keep coming. They're getting cheaper. When it's down to 12 from all these Ancient Tomb taps, I haven't done any damage to them yet. And we know what 12 is. 6 plus 6. As my opponent learned last game. Another Ancient Tomb. Let the damage flow. Lotus Petal, that's dangerous. That could be another Thought Monitor or a Kappa with what they have available. Another Mox Opal. Doing it off. Legend Rule. They're definitely doing something here. It's Kappa. Okay. So Prismatic Ending still something I want. I think so. I mean, I want to just hardcast this Terminus, but I'm not going to be able to do that through their 5-card hand. I won't have 2 red to Pyroblast 2 things, which is also what I'm trying to do here. They're bobbling me. I'm going to put the ending on top, and they can look at it. Is it a good one, opponent? Static Ending. At the Chalice. Ooh, it worked. Okay. I'm going to press down in my end step. That way Emery's turned off for the turn. I can Pyroblast Kappa Cannon here. Draw a card. Just going to kill Kappa right now. Kills Kappa, turns off Emery. Force of Will, pitching Hydroblast. That's why I did it now, so they couldn't untap and just cast that Hydroblast. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, and 12. They could put me to 6, then I can hardcast Terminus. Hope it's good. At least flushed out a Force of Will. If I draw any land, I can protect my Terminus with Pyroblast. This does get lifelink and trample because Shadow Spear's timestamp is after Dress Downs. It'd be at 5. And if I draw a land, I'm feeling great. If I don't draw a land, I still have a shot. Pithing Needle, okay. What is that name? Minsc Boo, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's more. Palace on 1. Only 1 card left in their hand. They can't Force a Will with 1 card in their hand. I'm actually feeling good right now. Terminus, too good. The old elbow tap, put all your creatures on the bottom. And I even drew the answer to Chalice. Burrows in the graveyard. 2 cards in your hand, let's do this thing. Bobble. It's Expressive Iteration off their Bobble. And they played Island from hand. Now's our time to shine, team. And they scooped it up. Yeah, I mean, both of those games look dicey. One of them we kind of cheesed out if they just jumped with a 2-2. In game 1, we were never losing. But this one, we just ground through it, used our tools that we had, efficient answers to their various threats, and maneuvered the game to a point where we were suddenly ahead. GG's. Maybe we don't need Narset. On to the next one. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play in round number 2 with a hand that's good against creatures and bad against everything else. I'm going to keep. That's one of the things about this deck. I said it last round too. It's like we're great against this, bad against this. I'll keep. I'm not going to mulligan to a 5 that has Swords of Plowshares and Force of Will in it just to make sure I have a little bit of game against everything. Just 7-card hands are generally going to do more for you with a deck like this than a perfect 5 will. At least until sideboards when you know what you're up against. Then you might have to make different decisions, but lands and spells, let's do it. And before the pedants in the comments pick me apart, I know this hand has swords and force in it, but no blue card. So it's like there's not a force here. Just gonna Flooded Strand and pass here and figure out if this is a great hand. Something like Elves. Oh, it's just 8 cast again. Cool. At least I have the Prismatic Ending and the Plow. There's old Emery. Build over an Aetherspell Bomb and a Mishra's Bauble and 2 size. I'm going to Plow in the end step. There's no Plateau in the deck. I can choose to double green or triple blue here. think doubling up my green makes sense. I say there's no plateau in the deck pretty often when I'm fetching, which means, maybe I should think about it, but yeah, I don't know. Probably not. Now I have an option. I can Prismatic Ending this Lotus Petal in Hyper Aggro mode, which takes them off 1 mana for regular spells or 2 mana for affinity spells. I don't think that's a route I want to take, though. Against this Chalice of the Void deck, I'm not trying to just spew off Prismatic Ending on a potential non-target. That's a pretty good card. Having 2 dress downs in the main makes me so much more comfortable against these Saga decks than when I had 1 or 0. The difference between 0 and 1 dress downs versus the Saga decks is huge, and then the second one is just freaking gravy. Okay, sure. Deal. Played around it. Second Emery? Okay, no, it was Thoughtcast, and they just announced it wrong. Yeah, if you announce Thoughtcast and then sack Lotus Petal to pay, you can Thoughtcast there. If you sack Lotus Petal floating blue and then try to Thoughtcast, you can't do that. Just the Magic rules at work. Bobble just saw Force of Will. They're down to 1 card in hand, plus what they're about to draw off Bobble. Another Prismatic Ending. I'm going to take out the Chalice. That card is the annoying one here. If I had another white, I would consider just hitting the Mox Opal. There's a chance that Saga doesn't make a token in that world. Okay, glad I wasn't tempted by that. Still 1 card in hand. They're going to redraw. Now they get Saga stuff, though. This would be the turn to put something up here. Okay, Uro is something. Move this game forward. I'd be pretty happy with a Wasteland right now. Just a land at all. That gets me Minsc Boo. I'm not upset about it. Now the question is, do I want to Prismatic Ending? I think I want to save it for Construct. I'm going to fetch Volcanic Island before this Construct or this Saga tutors, in case they go for Pithing Needle. Big Construct energy. You could get Soul Guide Lantern and pick off my Uro. That's kind of annoying. Did get Pithing Needle, and they named Minsc Boo. Accurately predicted the card that's in my hand. Boy needs a dress down real quick. Taking big hits here. A land gives me Uro. Or most lands give me Uro, because my white source is also my second green source. I mean, that's really good. I can still Prismatic Ending. Oh, okay. Force of Will in my hand. Volcanic Island on the bottom. Exile Flooded Strand. Play Flooded Strand. Prismatic Ending. Large Construct. And pass the turn. Unfortunately, I can't Mystic Sanctuary, pick up Prismatic Ending, or Swords to Plowshares, and then also Uro, because I only have 1 white source, which is also my second green source. Versus this beautiful mana base. Did not equip Shadow Spear. Opponent's got other plans. Emery. They have 1 card left. Yeah, Emery's not a card I want to have to figure out. I know they have Aether Spellbomb in their graveyard that just beats the Uro. I draw another mana source. I can Uro and then pick up the ending. That's not it. I'm just gonna Uro here. Plow and ending in the graveyard. Draw for Uro. Arrakis. That came just out of order. Yeah, I'm just dead here. There's too many attackers, and one of them will have trample, and it doesn't need trample anyway. Yeah. Okay. Came up just a little short. Just if this endurance was a green or white source, then we're stable and attacking with Uro at least for 1 more turn. Okay. We've seen this before. After I said in the deck tech, I've built my deck in a way that acknowledges the decrease in 8 cast. We've played against it 2 for 2. Good news is I have a plan. And here it is. These are the cards I brought in, and these are the cards I took out. Same as last round. On the play for game number 2, as you do when you lose game number 1, I'm going to keep this hand with Red Blast and Dress Down. Go. Dress Down would have totally flipped game 1 if 1 had arrived. The double Saga. Saga is just a really cool card, and we do have 2 Dress Downs, 2 Wastelands to interact with it on a kind of clean basis. But if you have to wade through it with a Plow and 2 Prismatic Endings, you're in bad shape, which is what we saw last game. I would like to resolve this brainstorm in completeness. If they turn one Chalice, I'm going to have to brainstorm in response. Probably put Mystic Sanctuary as the second card down to get shuffled away. But if I could get to my turn and do a complete shuffle brainstorm, I'd be pretty happy with that outcome. The hand kind of needs it too. Otawara Bobble Bobble. This looks like Emery, which I am prepared to light up this Volcanic Island and Red Elemental Blast. Strongly prefer that to Chalice of the Void. And I am going to brainstorm now rather than later, because if I hit Ponder or something I want to cast now, I would like to be able to cast it now. I did not, and that's fine. But Force of Vigor, Prismatic Ending in a hand that moments ago did not contain those cards. Hell yeah. There's a Saga. I'm much more prepared for it this game than I was last. Dress Down and Force of Vigor, good tools here. There's Chalice, I'm prepared for that one as well. Sideboards are gas. You're just ready for all the stuff that clowns you in game ones. I'm going to fetch a Tundra here. This keeps my island count up. I have 2 green sources for the inevitable Force of Vigor. My hand to exile this Chalice of the Void. I don't really have to make a decision about this Misty Rainforest yet. I kind of want to get Savannah, but that also sets me back a turn on Mystic Sanctuary, but I do have the 3rd island in my hand. Yeah, if I set up like fetch Savannah, play Tropical Island, cast Force of Vigor, Mystic Sanctuary, rebuy Force of Vigor, with the Dress Down somewhere in between, that seems like a pretty good engine to work through this Saga and the cards that are left in their hand. They do have 2 cards sitting in play. Anytime they choose to pop those Wobbles, it's go time. Wobble sees Tropical Island. Okay, that is the least offensive card they could have seen in my hand. A second Risher's Bauble. Okay, they do have the mana source continuously to activate this Urza Saga. Prismatic Ending. I could poke the Mox Opal because they've missed a land drop and it'll deny them a construct if I do that. I guess the question is, do I care about that? Because I have the constructs covered. That's not really the angle I'm fighting on. The question is, do I think knocking out this Mox Opal is going to meaningfully impact the rest of the game after that point? I think I'm just going to chill and let Dress Down do what it does. Now they can bobble me if they want another card because Construct is an artifact. Activating Saga, and I'm going to fetch for Savannah before they can tutor up Pithing Needle. Here's Savannah, and I'm going to let the Saga trigger resolve. What they search for might change based on whether they think they have constructs or not. They're just naming Minsc Boo with Pithing Needle. Fine. Press down. And the creatures are gone. Draw a card. And off we go. Another Saga. I have Force of Vigor this time. Dramatic Ending. They still haven't hit a land drop. Hitting this Opal is so tempting. I'm going to ponder and see what shakes loose. Minsc Boo, Brotherhood's End. Ooh. Brotherhood's End is neat. It's kind of the same thing as Force of Vigor. It does clear the Pithing Needle. Not going to shuffle my library. Guess I could have just put Minsc Boo in my hand, needled the ending the needle. Been out of here. I have to fetch a red source to cast this spell. Destroy all artifacts with mana value 3 or less. Get them. Making cash in 2 of them. But if this knocks them way off of Metalcraft and off of the Opal, they get a couple redraws here, which will probably produce a mana source, but I hope it doesn't. Maybe I'm supposed to wait until the Saga runs its course and then just clean up all the tokens afterwards. Wow, we're just playing a Chalice and passing here. Love that. We didn't pass. Got Mox Opal. Is there also Emery in the mix? I can take out Chalice and Emery next turn. It's not a huge deal. I think I just want to Force of Vigor, the Chalice and the Saga. I can still Prismatic Ending if they force this. Or it's just gone. That's cool too. I'm not going to go after the Mox Opal. I don't think I care. And Mystic Sanctuary can pick up Force of Vigor if it needs to. Or Brotherhood's End. Or, you know, whatever. Now I got to win this game somehow. I am ahead. Oh, I drew Mystic Sanctuary. Well, I guess I'm putting Ponder on top of my deck, since we're down and dirty about it now. Not where I wanted to be, but here we go. Found a land. They've resolved Emery. Milled a Chalice of the Void and a Lotus Petal, and there's a bunch of baubles already in there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I can Ponder and Prismatic Ending. I'm gonna Ponder first. That gives me any new information. Like all of these cards. Not shuffle the library. Blue, green, blue. Uro draws Swords to Plowshares. And I think I should Prismatic Ending here. I can't double spell no matter what. I'm going to use the less efficient spell. Got a Sigh and a Mox Opal immediately. With a land, so everything is active. Alright, I got options now. I think I want to start with Uro. Blue, green, green, blue. I'm going to exile some of these lands. I don't need to loam that hard. Dress down, I have no way to recycle. The endurances are all boarded out. Prismatic Ending. Okay. I'm going to Swords to Plowshares Sigh this time. I know I said use the more efficient one, or the least efficient one last turn, but this turn I actually can double spell if I need to. Maybe I'm supposed to Prismatic Ending the Thopter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they would have been able to cap it anyway. Honor, okay. Uro still outvalues what they have going on here. Mystic Sanctuary is already in play anyway, so what I exile with Uro barely matters. Oh, right on time. Or Soul Guide Lantern. It tried its best. Time to Minsc Boo. We're going ham. I'll attack for 10. Aggressive iteration. Don't mind if I do. Iteration time. After a chump block and they took some damage. Caracas. Okay. I'll put Meltdown in my hand. How about that one, team? Uro on the bottom. Exile Caracas. And play Caracas' land for turn. Do I want to fire off one of these Prismatic Endings? Probably not. All that shit's going to die to Meltdown next turn anyway. I can Meltdown for 8, which kills Kappa Cannoneer, if they have that, and clears all these Thought Monitors. That's crazy business. Another Thought Monitor. They're doing it. They're doing the thing. Thought Cast. Alright. The deck is functioning. Got off the ground. Let's see if it's enough to catch up with me, who is also well off the ground. Petal. There's a Saga. And they're going in on a Kappa, too. If this Meltdown resolves, it's going to change the world. This thing's crazy. They also tap their Soul Guide Lantern. Their hand has to be Force Blue card for them not to be just sent to the Shadow Realm right now. Minsc Boo is taken 2 in combat. That's fine. Plowshares, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can just elbow tap. I'm doing it. It just resolved. I was pausing for a screenshot and they were F6 and everything just went away. Meltdown for 7, nerds. Does anything change? Do I want to adjust my approach at all? On the draw, Emery is extra annoying, but so is Chalice. And like I said in the last one, I am up answers on Emery even with being down 1 plow. Kozilek's Return is good against Emery and going wide with Sigh and nothing else. Yeah, everything that's in the deck is the stuff that lines up the best. Got Dress Down. I don't have an answer to Chalice, but I am going to keep this hand. Punishing me immediately. Okay, sure. I would like to find a red source to get this expressive iteration off the ground. A red card, which is kind of like a red source, but the opposite of what I want instead of exactly what I want. Here's a Saga. Currently no blue mana. I am ready to dress down this Saga. Red source. Red card. Okay. Well, team, this might get weird. But they just tried to make a construct too early. Settle down. Getting a construct right now. They need that. 1, 2, 3. If I had dressed down in response to the construct being made, then they wouldn't have been able to cast this thought cast. That was bad. Now that there is a construct in play, I might end step dress down and go for the Turbo Uro, which is not a play I normally recommend. And they can just tutor up Aether Spell Bomb and send it back home. I think that's fine though. I'm gonna end step dress down. I think missing my land drop is worse than having to deal with the remaining construct. I would not have dressed down if they didn't make a construct here. In the end step, I'm gonna dress down. And that there is a decision to be made there, because I could have done it in their main phase. It still kills the construct, I still draw a card, but it's not in play come my turn. And the difference is, do I want to gain a life and draw a card off of Uro, or do I just want to put Uro into play as a 6/6 and make them deal with it? And I decided to do the second thing. Gotta get a red source here, because that's what my hand is. But there's no white anywhere to be found. It's fine. Here's Uro. Straight in play as a 6/6. Even if you have that line available to you, it's not often good having to, like, you frequently want to gain the life and draw the card and make the land drop more than you just want to throw a 6/6 onto the field. But in this case, I think it's worth doing. Now they have to either square up with this Uro or tutor up either Spellbomb, which is not Shadow Spear, it's not Pithing Needle, it's none of those other things that they might want instead. I can also just hope the Spellbomb is in their hand and locked out by their own Chalice. Then this game gets in just race mode. Which, to be fair, they're going to have a construct that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they get Shadow Spear, it'll be a 6/6. If they can get it equipped, or just play any artifact. They could outsize Uro pretty quickly here. So I need to unlock the rest of my hand. Also, you'll notice my opponent is drifting south of 5 minutes on their clock. I still have just under 12 minutes. They've spent a lot of time AFK or double queuing or whatever it is they're doing this game. Yep, either Spellbomb. Got it. Lotus Petal. Thought Monitor. The ideal situation here is that I find White Source and Prismatic Ending in my top 4 cards between Draw Step and Expressive Iteration. I would also accept Land Dress Down and Force of Vigor or Brotherhood's End. All those cards are defensible here. I got a lot of action. But they're going for a Kappa too. My god. This was a big turn. They did have to tap out of blue, which is how they activate Aether Spellbomb to do this, so... Oh, nope. Add a land drop still, and Spellbomb does not tap to activate. They're just fine over there. Yeah, even Thoughtcast and the Lotus Petal lets them continue to leave up Spellbomb. If they even care. Now they have a Kappa that's just bigger. I need some good stuff here. I would say Terminus, but I don't have white mana. There's Prismatic Ending. Let's see if Uro can get an attack in. I'd be happy to just trade this for damage, and they can keep their Aether Spellbomb if I get to draw a card. Okay. Did spend it. Second main. You have 8, 15, 16, 17. I might just be dead anyway. It's actually looking extremely likely. Red, blue. Expressive Iteration. I found the white source. I put Wasteland in my hand. MTG Boo on the bottom. Exile. White source. And this fetches me to 18, which might just kill me. I'm going to fetch Savannah here because that gives me Force of Vigor if I draw it. That does shrink the construct and undo the damage I took fetching. But we're in bad shape here. 8, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, they just have to play one artifact and I lose. In their 5-card hand. I think they can figure it out. Not an artifact. That's not an artifact. Oh, they figured it out. Okay, we're dead. Yeah, that was a tight one, and I think I blew it on the dress down. Like, this construct is just in for 7 here. And if I had been more patient and just not hurried out the Uro, that construct would not be in play. And that construct helped enable the Thought Monitor, which might have drawn into this Kappa, or at least the mana to play it. If I was not about to miss a land drop, I would have never in my life cast that dress down when I did. Yeah, I think assessing whether I needed that land drop, or like how bad is it if I miss this land drop versus how bad is it if the construct goes uncontested. Yeah, I think I just got impatient and got a little scared with the way the game was unfolding, and I should have been more patient there. I could have just made the same play half a turn cycle later. Yeah, okay. I messed this game up. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 3 with another one of these hands that has a removal spell, lands to play, and no blue card to go with my Force of Will. But I'm in. You know I keep these. First appearance of Loam so far in the league. That's a good card. Go to Delta. Okay. Could be combo or just a generic blue fetch land deck. Ooh, that's a good one. That is a blue card for Force of Will or just more cards, different cards in general. I'm just going to sit on it for a minute until I know what I'm playing against. Making moves here. Misty Rainforest found Snow Island. I don't know why, but when people fetch Snow Island, I just feel like they're Doomsday. Doomsday gets one island and sometimes plays one swamp. I don't know, I'm just getting vibes. So Delver also plays one basic island, and they may want to do something weird with it. Alright, I'm going to find out soon. Oh, ho, 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 look at this. Look at this. A little Underground Sea. Was my intuition correct? Shuffled that Ponder. Cool. I'm going to brainstorm in the end step. Probably get rid of this Prismatic Ending and Swords to Plowshares. Oh. What do I need here? A second green source? Still can't fetch Taiga with Flooded Strand. I'll get my Tropical Island. Brainstorm. If I start with Brainstorm, what happens? I think I want to start with Ponder. Okay, there is another Force of Will. I'll shuffle the library, and I think I want to cast Loam. So Loam is green for Endurance, and I know I'm about to hit a land drop. Okay, I'm not going to cast Loam. I'm just going to pass. A Thoughtseize here doesn't take me off Force of Will. Surprise! It's Thoughtseize. If they take the Brainstorm, I'm just dead. Because that means they're prepared to beat a Force of Will. Thoughtseize has happened. They're a Daze deck also. Okay, here's the plan. Or, no, I was about to say the plan is Mystic Sanctuary, Force of Will, and then Life from the Loam my lands back, but is that even a coherent plan? I kind of like it. Mystic Sanctuary, target my Force of Will, and then Life from the Loam gives me a bunch of material that I can brainstorm away. And I don't ram Minsc Boo into Daze here. That's what I was trying to avoid. This does feel like Doomsday. It could be Ad Nauseam Tendrils. I guess it could technically still be Grixis Control or something like that. I don't think it's Death Shadow based on how they fetched. I don't think Death Shadow even plays a basic. Ooh, a bug deck. Oh, it is Storm. Yep, and we are dead. Yeah, this just resolves. I'm not going to Brainstorm, give them a cantrip off the Veil of Summer, and then live their best life over there. I can try to Brainstorm into Endurance if they make an all-in graveyard line, like if they get Past in Flames right now, with Wishclaw and Infernal. Probably just doesn't matter. They're just going straight for the head with Infernal for Tendrils. Plenty of Storm to defeat. All 4 Infernals. I love the style. For LED to activate Wishclaw, and then, yeah, okay. Way more Storm than was necessary. Good stuff, though. Kind of disappointed they stopped there. They could have LED'd for red, gotten Past in Flames, and just done it all again. Okay, they checked my hand with the Thoughtseize, then cleared the way with Veil of Summer. Against Storm, Collector Oof. This is one of my cards that Matthew didn't have. I'm excited about that. Like the Red Blast, the Force of Negation. Hydroblast. With Witchclaw Talisman, they generally don't reach for Burning Wish. They are a graveyard deck. This build with Past in Flames. Kozilek's Return mops up Goblin tokens if they go Goblins. Oh, but they have Ave Progenitor Ooze, not Empty the Warrens these days. Maybe I have to leave a Terminus in. I'm gonna cut all my Swords to Plowshares. If they have Xanted Swarm, I still have Prismatic Ending. And Dress Down does very little. And these cards. Minsc Boo too slow. Do I want something like Brotherhood's End? I don't think so. I have the Kozilek's Return in. I have Collector Oof in. Minsc Boo can actually win a game. Terminus respects Ave Progenitor Ruse specifically. Okay. I could cycle some of these cards around and just have Dress Downs in as more blue cards for forces, and they're also just cantrips at the bottom end. I don't think this is a low matchup. Okay. I'm ready. Gonna keep this hand. The Red Blasts are in the deck just to beat up on Ponders and Brainstorms because their whole combo doesn't involve any blue cards. But if they can't set up, then they either can't get their combo going or they can't protect it as well as they'd like to. I would love to fetch Taiga here, but once again, Flooded Strand does not get it. All these green cards in my hand. It's land? Okay, maybe. There's a chance. On the hunt for Collector Roof here. I'm going to Brainstorm, and then I'm going to Red Blast, which is a little risky because Veil of Summer makes Ponder uncounterable, and because I cast Brainstorm, they draw a card off Veil. But I still think it's play. Get rid of Wasteland and Uro here. The Volcanic Island and beat up the Ponder. That was just countered. No questions asked. No arguments. Collector Roof. Collector Roof. I'm just going to jam Uro into play here. I would like to get that moving forward. I just stunted their development. I'm holding Force of Will. They have 4 cards in their hand. Try to move this game forward. I just missed my Uro land drop, so they know my hand is 5 spells. I could totally lose here. I'm gonna hope that I don't. Carpet of Flowers, shit. See what they do with it. Nothing. No mana past the turn. That's what you like to see. That's why I didn't force that. I got bigger dreams than that. I'm gonna ponder off of the Tundra. There's no white card I need to cast right now. Terminus on top. That's really interesting. I'm gonna put Terminus 2 cards down, draw this Taiga, and make my land drop this turn. Now I have Force of Will and Endurance up, and I can Uro next turn. And if they go for an Ave line, I have it covered. I have spells covered with the Force. I have their graveyard covered with the Endurance, and then their mid-range line also covered. And now I'm just going to start attacking them. Endurance. I'm going to hit their graveyard because they care about Threshold. I am going to slam Uro. That puts the Terminus in my hand, but that's not a big deal. Now I'm just trying to win this game. Double Force. And they've made it clear they haven't been able to do anything in the last 2 turns. They have infinite mana to work with and just haven't made a move. Now there's mana in the pool. We're under real threat. There's Thoughtseize. Yeah, they saw the second Force and conceded. Or maybe they had nothing and were just fishing for sideboard information. They see that I left in Terminus. That may affect their Ave Progenitor Ooze decisions. I also have to look up Ave real quick, but I think Dress Down means that all of the Aves come into play as 2/2s, and then Kozilek's Return can get them. 2/2 Storm. When Ave Progenitor Ooze isn't legendary if it's a token, Ave enters the battlefield with a +1 counter on it for each other ooze you control. Yeah, so Dress Down stops that ability, and then they just get 2/2s instead of 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, etc. So Dress Down does have, in addition to blue card and cantrip and turn off Xanted Swarm, it also can give me a second out to Ave in the form of Kozilek's Return. I think that's better than the third Minsc Boo. Okay, I'm getting after it. Oh, this hand is crunchy. Not in a good way. I'm gonna mulligan this. Opponent kept 7. Oh, here's just the best card in my deck. Snapkeep. I'm going to put Tropical Island on the bottom. There's worlds where Wasteland can just cheese Storm out of the game. I am just going to try to get to a situation where I can collect a roof, though. I hope that they play it slow, build up a handful of spells, and then just oof. Don't Thoughtseize. Okay. Looks like we're getting a turn with 2 mana in play. Where I want to be with my life. I'm going to fetch Tundra, I guess. Or Taiga lets me EI if I draw it. I get Savannah with this one. Yeah, Taiga gives me Endurance next turn as well. Collect a Roof, get in there. This is less good against Ant than it is against TES, but it's still really good. Brainstorm in the end step. Shuffled in the upkeep. Under, okay. That's a good one. That makes my Wasteland pretty bad. It also lets them get big mana jumps without the help of artifacts. I was thinking about Wastelanding the Bayou this turn, but now I'm just not going to do that. No mana pass, that's what I like to see. Caracas gives me white without putting another island into play. I actually like this. And hardcast the Endurance. And here's what I like about Collector Roof compared to Null Rod or Deafening Silence. It attacks. I'm working on the ad nauseum life total. I am moving this game towards its conclusion, all while shutting off some of their key engines in their deck. Right, Carpet of Flowers just played Carpet of Flowers. Are there more spells? Oh, Black Mana, Dark Ritual. I hope they're doing something that is soft to Endurance. That's what I got. God. So much mana. Veil of Summer, oh no. Go for Past in Flames. Go for Past in Flames. Vernal Tutor is 6, 7, 8. Nas, okay. Here comes the Nas. They have a Lion's Eye Diamond, Wishclaw Talisman, and stuff. This. Oh, shit, we're dead. Yeah, now they just Cabal Ritual, and kill me. Even through the Endurance, because they get 3 mana, and then Walrus can make it 4, and then Tendrils is lethal. Oh, right, Lion's Eye Diamond and Wishclaws were turned off. They actually did need to hit the Tendrils on Natty like that. I will make the play that I have to make, even though it's not going to be enough. Yeah, that second Cabal Writ. I have exactly enough mana to Tendrils me through... Exactly enough mana and exactly enough Storm to Tendrils me through the oof stuff. GG's. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play in round 4 versus Stryfo. This is going to be a grindy control matchup. I'm actually going to keep this because it hits land drops and moves the game forward. He has a Wasteland deck, though, but so am I. I'm going to hang this Mystic Sanctuary out there, just get it out of the way. You'll also notice that my clock is at 23 and his is at 25. Or 23 and change, his is at 25 and change. That is because I made the mistake of responding to a Twitter DM thinking, my round won't fire right away, even if it does, I won't need these 30 seconds. But the Stryfo Control Mirror. That's a weird start, though. I have concerns. But let me tell you about shoving Minsc Boo through with double force backup in a Control Mirror. That's what's about to happen. Oh my god. This is a weird start from our nemesis here. My hand has provided me with one plan, and I'm going to make it happen. God, just resolved. I don't know what's going on, but I'm into it. Take 4. Island 2 Baleful Strix on the Loam. Island doesn't add any colors that he's not already playing. We are pitching Fury. This will kill Minsc Boo. I'm going to force Pitching Force. I'm untapping into Hardcast the other force. All right, there we go. Okay. I feel blessed to have snuck away with one that easy. That won't happen often against the Stryfo. Blue Soup deck with Fury and Baleful Strix. I was so excited to snap off the force, I forgot to look at what he pitched to Fury. That would have been important information. I'm just going to assume it was Expressive Iteration and call it a day. Terminus can leave the deck. Dress down. We did just see Fury, but I don't know if that's the type of thing I want to be dressing down. Hydroblast. Oh, he pitched Dak Fade into Fury. I do remember that. Some part of my brain registered it, and it just popped up now. Okay. He's got Dak and Loam and Channel Lands and Fury. Those are the cards we saw. I want to be a little slimmer on Force of Will, but I still want to be playing them. Definitely going to be an Uro deck. I like Endurance for looping my own cards, as well as the Graveyard Hate aspect. There are some creatures in the deck, but not enough that I want 4 plows, especially since I'm bringing in Hydroblast that can hit Uro and Hydroblast that can hit Fury. Baleful Strix is a pain in my ass, though. If I want Brotherhood's End, that does deal damage to creature and Planeswalker. It can kill any number of Baleful Strix and pressure a Dak and a Jace and a whatever else. Minsc Boo. Probably not. Kozilek's Return can mop them up. I'm going to shave a second Force of Will here and stop this sideboard plan. 3 of each blast, the carpet, and then just my main deck threats. Let's try it. Snap Keep. Lands and spells, let's go. Fetch land pass. What do we got here? Is it Loam? Oh, Jund mana. 5 color now, Strifo? Or are we not playing white? I think we're not playing white is what's going on here. Also fetching around Carpet of Flowers like a boss. I'm gonna brainstorm in the end step and hope I don't get my Hull Breach. Ugh. He has a Dak Fade deck. This is a Hull Breacher deck. Shit. I don't want to have to force this, but I guess this is the world I live in. So I have to make this move. My hand's not very good. Okay, it just resolved. I'll take that. I'm gonna bury one of these Minsc Boos. They might want to also get rid of the other. Is basically the best card, but he is also a Lightning Bolt deck. I'm gonna settle in and shuffle that away. Fetch Tundra here. Gets me all my colors with the Taiga in my hand. Hit Uro and then still have a land. Yeah, hitting that land is a big deal. And there, Uro. Sure. I'm gonna hold up Hydroblast rather than play this Ponder. 3 sticks, Minsc Boo or Dak here. That's a big problem. Endurance. Okay. Fair enough. My Endurance can touch butts with that Endurance. Neither one is really pushing for damage. Ready for this all day. And I have Force back if I need it. Okay, that land lets me Ponder. That's pretty great. Got a Ponder in here. That was my blue card for Force. Guess I'll replace it with this Brainstorm. And then I'm going to Endurance the Loam before it gets any additional value. And send it. Don't want to plow this Endurance. Want to save that for a Hull Breacher or something that's actually going to mess up more than just my life total. Strix, annoying. No attack. That was awfully honest about what red cards you have access to. Land. Opponent did miss a land drop last turn. Take him off double green. Can't take him off any one color. Taiga is a tough beat. I also kind of want to just shuffle my deck. I don't get both. I'm going to put back one of these Swords to Plowshares and just play Scalding Tarn. He is a Punishing Fire deck, probably. Rifle Pile is traditionally. Could find a better target for this Wasteland if I wait. Sick Forest, alright. Gonna fetch, and I could put Ponder on top of my deck here. Get a little value. I think I like that better than Hydroblast with this Force of Will up. Thing to Dust. You madman. Yeah, that hurts. Okay. Sure. Drew a cantrip anyway. Can't stop me now. I'm having a good time. Aggressive Iteration, what's up? I'm gonna put back Swords to Plowshares and Wasteland. Then EI into those. Here comes the EI. Blast. Do I want to Hydroblast this? No. Make my land drop. And just keep passing the turn here. Taking Ottawara as your land. I'm gonna draw the Wasteland. Play it. And I'm gonna draw the Swords to Plowshares too. I'm just really worried about Hull Breacher. Or Uro. I'm not really set up for Uro right now either. Fury. I'm gonna Hydroblast this. Save my Force of Will for anything. There's no pressure point for Wasteland right now, so I'm just not gonna zap it. Very soon gonna start getting value off of this Cling to Dust. He's already cantripped, and the next escape is this plus a card. Okay. Finally decided it's time to push damage. I'm just gonna take it. I think he's got Punishing Fire or similar. My turn to push. Another Endurance. Endurancing me. And I'm gonna Swords to Plowshares. I can Force of Will the Hull Breacher I've been playing around. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can exile this other Endurance. Now that he realized he can just be attacking, I kind of want to make that not a thing. White, blue, sell your Endurance. I want to be winning the damage race if we're going to be getting scrappy, because I am behind on the scrappy front. A Cling to Dust in the end step. There is. Failed my land. Got 4 cards to my 1. Essence Trophy. Yep. My only basic is already in play. Safe bet. And now getting in with Strix on Uro. I'll play the Caracas. That lets me not care about Uro or Minsc Boo. Under. Did not shuffle. Baden. This card will kill me. Okay, officially all in. This Force of Will I've been holding on to forever. Found its home. Oh. Do I get a home now? Are we in? Yeah, no fucking chance. Okay, fair enough. Fair play. Helpful Strix continues its reign of terror. Another one. How'd we do? Round in the lock. Oh no. Yep. That'll do it. The old post round in the lock Endurance. I unlocked the Endurance. Still taking Uro here. I'm not too proud. I need the life total. Thanks. Well, I'm at 1 against the deck with Burn in it. Sagewing my Caracas. Ouch. I will tutor a land this time. That also put a card in my graveyard to eat with Cling to Dust. Cling to Dust dominating the mirror. Or pseudo mirror, blue suit mirror. Yep. Yeah, just outdrew me there. Way more cantrips cast by my opponent than me that game, and that's frequently how these games are decided. I don't think I want Kozilek's Return, but the Baleful Strixes are pretty annoying. Brotherhood's End kills Fury and Baleful Strix on the 3 damage mode. Kind of a weird way to go, but I mean, Baleful Strix is annoying. I think the same deck is where I want to be. Right back in we go. It's a great start. Got Ponder and EI. Let's make it happen. Uros here. Force of Will, Minsc Boo, Brainstorm. I'll tuck this Force of Will in my hand in case of an emergency. Let's hope he doesn't get rowdy with a Wasteland. Rainforest for basic island. It gets you your first land safe and sound, but in a 4-color deck, that can come back to bite you. Planning to Brainstorm in the end step here. Did not shuffle the Ponder. Got a Verdant Catacombs for bad lands and Baleful Strix on the stack. That's fine. There are matchups where I snap off Pyroblast on Baleful Strix, but I don't think this is one of them. At least Carpet of Flowers is here. Get rid of Minsc Boo and Plow. Where's Prismatic Ending worse than Plow? They're kind of close. I think Ending's probably worse. I'm going to fetch for Savannah. That gets me all my colors. There's land number 3. That gives me Uro if I want it. I'm going to test the waters with this Carpet. This is the kind of spell that can flush out interaction, or it's just really good if it doesn't. I'm going to use Carpet's ability. I'm deciding if I'm going to cast EI or Uro here. I think it's EI. Okay. Brainstorm in the hand, Flooded Strand on the bottom. Or it's Plow on the bottom, Flooded Strand in exile. That's what I meant, and also what I did. That's lucky. I don't want Uro just sitting in the graveyard. We've seen Endurance, we've seen Cling to Dust. He's got Surgicals, they'll be in the deck. Pyroblast this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not even close to Uro plus Escape all at once. I'm going to Brainstorm here. off of my carpet mana. Okay, Wasteland is good beats. I put back Swords to Plowshares and Ponder, and I can Uro, put in Wasteland, and I'm going to hit the Bayou. Do I want do I want to take him all the way off Endurance or out red cards? I think it's red cards. Oh, but I'm holding Hydroblast. Damn it. We're going after the Bayou. I will spend a Force of Will on Graveyard Hate here. Here's the Endurance because I didn't go after. Oh no, it's Uro. That's good. You can have Uro. Just don't put in Bajuka Bog off it. No land at all. That was a good Wasteland. Brick's getting in. And I'm going to resolve an Uro here, or at least put one on the stack. Make green, green. Yeah, green. Green, green, blue, blue. Dialing 1, 2, 4, 5. This also insulates me against Drown in the Lock by exiling my own graveyard. Ooh, double force on that. Okay. All right, that's going to work. I'll just have to Uro again next turn, I hope. Got your own Uro this time. Pitched Ponder and Dak to the 2 forces last turn. Oh, that's big money. I guess I can't use it, though. I'm going to make white mana here. And Swords to Plowshares, the Strix, just to get Uro on the stack. That's what this game is about. The difference between our decks is my third color is white and his third color is black. And the reason black fell out of favor a couple years ago was that Uro entered the format and white removal became really important. I'm going to Hydroblast this. I'm just on Uro tank mode right now. I'm going to exile, or I'm going to Red Blast the Strix. Save the ending if ever escapes his Uro. But Red Blast counters Uro. No, yeah, that's way better. I'm going to make white here. Wait. Should tap a different color. Wait, blue. In case I draw Endurance. Now we're connecting with Uro in the Uro matchup. Another Strix, come on. I'll counter Strix now. I don't want him drawing more cards. I don't want anything between Uro and his face. That's big money. I'm not going to cast it yet. I'm going to attack with Uro first, see what happens with that. And cast EI with more options available. I'm going to make red mana here. Red. And I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary, putting EI or Red Blast on top. I want to make sure I don't lose suddenly. Wow, okay. Red Blast in my hand, or do I put Blue Blast in my hand to make sure this Minsc Boo resolves? Oh wait, you can't Blue Blast. Okay, yeah. Red Blast in my hand. Blue Blast on the bottom. Exile Minsc Boo. Punished for my post-combat shenanigans. Here's Minsc Boo. We're gonna stir up here. And I'll pass the turn. Opponent is dead on board. Knows I have Red Blast. Or at least strongly suspects that I took it. We got the GGs. Alright. I think my lifetime record against Strife on the channel is still negative, but tick 1 in the scoreboard column for me. Exciting match. On to the next one. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the draw with a no-lander versus a Yorion deck. I'm going to mulligan my no-lander no matter what. Okay. I'm interested in this. I'm going to keep and put Terminus on the bottom. Let's see what flavor of Yorion they are. It's more likely to be 5C Zenith, and then Cephalid Breakfast, and then Death and Taxes at this point. I'm going to ponder. Blue land confirmed. Yeah, I'll take a Force of Will for emergencies. Brainstorm under it. That's good stuff. Prismatic Vista. That's starting to indicate Ice Fang Coatl. No covered island plus Prismatic Vista. This could be a Lauren or a food chain, or it could just be regular value Zenith. Pass the turn and continue to develop information. Ice Fang Coatl is deadly if they want it to be. Abundant growth, okay. This growth is so abundant. Brainstorm in the end step. Oh, big Minsc Boo. That's nice. All of these Random shitty removal spells or extra lands, not so nice though. Gonna fetch those away. Get a about to play Taiga, which is a non-island. Probably gonna fetch Tundra with my Flooded Strand. Just get Savannah here and give up on Mystic Sanctuary for a while. Yeah, that seems fine. This land not helpful here. Not yet anyway. Here comes Uro in Flooded Strand. I actually am going to Prismatic Ending the Abundant Growth. I don't know how important that is to them, but I want to beat the hell out of it if it is. Also puts card number 5 in my graveyard for Uro. I had a fetch land, so I didn't really need it, but I don't know. We'll see if that comes back to bite me. I don't actually know how structurally sound these decks are right now without their 5-color lands available to them. Bummer. Me without a blue card for my Force of Will. Drawing the main deck Pyroblast here would be exciting. Did I draw a land? Okay. I'm going to play around Daze by dropping Wasteland and then put my Minsc Boo on the stack. Don't expect this deck to have Daze, but I don't want to be surprised if they do. Notably, they did have to fetch this non-basic because I Prismatic Ended the Abundant Growth. They could have just floated fetch land in play and cast Endurance off of the plains. That was available. Oh, we're in there. Didn't really expect that. I'm happy about it. +1 counters. And I'm ready to fight. Go. Unless they have Noble Hierarch. Don't think this deck has the reach to clear a Minsc Boo, do an extra damage. I'm snapping off the Wasteland. Putting 3 damage on Minsc Boo. And I'm untapping into Force of Will mana. Ponder is pretty cool. I can plus Boo and try to go coast to coast here. And the second Endurance attack does kill this. Force the Plowshares. There's 2 plays available here. I can force the Plow and get to work. Or I could let Plow resolve and then Ponder, try to find a removal spell for Endurance. I think I want to dig for the removal spell. Here's the Ponder. Easy Swords to Plowshares. And a backup Minsc Boo. Plow the Endurance. Cool. Icefang Coatl can deal 1 damage. And they do have 1. Death Touch doesn't matter here, luckily. Not how the rules work. And we haven't seen a basic land outside of the Bant core. If they're sitting on Prismatic Ending, taking out that Abundant Growth means they can't end the Minsc Boo. 2, 3, 4, 5 mana here. A lot. Uh-oh. Now they can exile Minsc Boo. Or play your own. That's so much worse. Holy shit. Okay. Hate that. Yeah, that Abundant Growth had them locked out of their red cards, which they do have. This Tropical Island being not a blue card as maximum punished. They left back Icefang Coatl. Probably the right call. There's a Dress Down on top of my deck with Minsc Boo under it. I can Dress Down and then cast Minsc Boo, but then it'll just die to theirs. If I Dress Down on their turn, +3 fizzles because the creature doesn't have Trample or Haste anymore. Yeah, the last big spell wins in these matchups, and my opponent currently has the last big spell. But no, they're just planning to draw cards. Didn't even pump before combat. So much worse. Dressing down doesn't help here. Yep, take 4. Now they have 7 cards in their hand. Horrific. Oh god, you're a Slogurk deck? That sucks. Not a card I'm prepared to beat. Guess I just have to force here and then hope that they drew nothing from my Minsc Boo. Okay. They have 2 5-color lands now. 6 cards in hand. If this works, it's big. But I have low hopes, low confidence. But fingers are crossed. At least making a hamster. It's a 4/4. Attack your Minsc Boo. Gotten this far, Swords to Plowshares could have saved 3 life if they had it. Okay, Minsc Boo's in the graveyard. Oh my god. Did not think we were going to be here. Second Coatl in the end step. Okay. Even if they have another Minsc Boo, my Dress Down can knock the haste off it, so it both can't attack and doesn't get +3/+3. Oh no, not the Prismatic Ending. Oh, Omnath. This is so much worse. I'm going to dress this down. off of Volcanic Island. I actually did a coaching session earlier this week where I helped somebody brew their 4-color Yorion control deck, and it had Omnath in it. I wonder if this is that person. We didn't have Slogurk in the deck, though. Or is Omnath just a one-of in the Zenith pile and they happen to draw it? That's probably more likely. Dress down looking good, though. Modern technology. Dress down the Omnath deck. And they slapped Yorion into their hand. Fortunately, they can still do 2 here. Oh, they didn't. Interesting. Why not? Now I get a chance to draw 4 cards? Or I could offer the trade with Omnath. Or no, they have Death Touch creatures. That's why. I'm going to start with a Ponder and see where that goes. If I find a Swords to Plowshares, okay. Or all of these crazy freaking cards. Not going to shuffle my library. I'm going to throw Minsc Boo at Omnath. I'm not going to attack. Price Minsc Boo. Deal 4 to Omnath. Draw 4 cards, including another Minsc Boo. I can EI here. I still have my land drop. Blue, red. Press down in hand. Land on the bottom. Exile land. Okay. I mean, this doesn't look bad. I don't like that my Minsc Boo is dead on board to the Coatls, but I can pick one off. Press down the Yorion. Eternal Witness. Wow, we are just playing Modern over here. Press that down as well. Which turns off the Yorion later in the turn. Means I don't have to hold up Aeroblast this turn. I can use it to keep Minsc Boo alive. Aeroblast one of these. And I can Mystic Sanctuary either EI or Pyroblast back. This is still game 1, so that Pyroblast is tasty. No Yorion's in the hand. Smith for 3. This creature won't have any abilities. Is this Evolved? We'll still play that. I think this is worth a Force of Will. And I'm going to Mystic Sanctuary now, so they can't Endurance, because the Dress Down is still around. And I think I do want the Pyroblast. With them sitting on that Yorion, I'm going to respect the hell out of that. Would like to make a hamster, yes. That Pyroblast. Pass up my hamster. Having a second Minsc Boo in hand. Let's make it a little rowdy here. Start pushing towards the end game. It's Eternal Witness having 2 power. Endlessly frustrating. That's just a good Magic card. One of the few cards from 5th Dawn worth talking about all these years later. He just slapped a 2/1 body onto Regrowth for 1 extra green mana. Regrowth has been restricted in Vintage. Crazy. Maybe Regrowth wasn't restricted. Maybe Gush was. Some part of the Gush Regrowth deck got suddenly unrestricted at some point. This looks like a giant Zenith. It is. We're going to brainstorm and try to find another Force here, I guess. I'm running low on those. Yikes. Okay. We're in the danger zone. Primeval Titan at the top end. There is. They're about to go into the Field of the Dead. Yeah, we probably lost this one. I considered pitching whatever the blue card was in my hand last turn. Was it this Brainstorm? I pitched Force to Force, and maybe I should have kept the other Force in my hand. Now this game's going to be really hard to win. Do 1 damage on Minsc Boo when you have a 2-power attacker. Don't understand, but okay. I'm going to shuffle away these cards that I don't want. I need a big hit here. You know what qualifies as a big hit? Hitting them for 7 damage, and then playing the other Minsc Boo and throwing the hamster for 7. I'm going to EI first. If I can find Swords to Plowshares and push damage through. That's not what happened. EI in my hand, land on the bottom, exile Brainstorm. And cast Brainstorm. Wasteland. Okay, that's not bad. Wasteland clears this Caracas if I need to keep playing the game after this turn. I'm going to put back Island and Wasteland. And the Wasteland's on top. If I go looking for it later. Hope they just take this or don't put their Primeval Titan in front of it. Though they did leave back enough blockers that they could just throw a bunch of zombies under it. That's why I wanted Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, they're just going to gang block this thing. Maybe I shouldn't have attacked. And I just play the other Minsc Boo, put them to 4, draw 7. But I'm still dead on board. Okay, this is why I put the Wasteland on top, in case they made like really smart decisions. They just block with the Coatl. Nope. Yeah, so now I don't need Wasteland because I am mega dead anyway. And Caracas isn't going to change that. They did give me the Eternal Witness to kill. I'll take it. It's a lot of damage, a lot of dead creatures, but somehow I'm still down. Here's my land drop for the turn. I need to set up a Terminus now. Really the only thing left to do. Red, blue, guy. There is Terminus. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I am dead now, though. Yeah, I'm a brainstorm short of this Terminus. Terminus in my hand. And on the bottom, exile land. I guess if I brainstorm into brainstorm, I can do it that way. All right, brainstorm's got to find a way to draw a card at an instant speed. None of those do it. The last land in my deck isn't green, so endurance can't block. Yes, I can give them a chance to focus energy on Minsc Boo instead of just killing me. Yep, gotta hope they do that. That's the plan. They're sending at least one attacker at Minsc Boo. Oh, good, good, good. They're thinking about it. The zombies are both headed at Minsc Boo, and the rest of these are attacking me. I'll go to 3 here. Okay, Terminus. It's gonna happen. Not sure if it's gonna matter, but it's gonna happen. They even tutored up Dryad Arbor for extra creatures. Diamond Up Excavator. Okay. That gets to play a fetch land and make another zombie. That does leave me at 1 next turn. Don't love that. It's Terminus time. It's Terminus o'clock. It's a miracle. Bang. On the stack. Now they're holding Yorion. I can't play this fetch land because I die. Fresh Minsc Boo. For your consideration. Gas up the hamster. I know they have Caracas, but here we go. Yep, that's fine. They can fetch and make a zombie, put me to 1. If they have Coatl, they can kill me. That brainstorm. All right. Oh, right. They can fetch Dryad Arbor. That is also lethal. Maybe they'll attack Minsc Boo again. Wasting my Taiga. Yep, good call. Okay, now I'm just F6'd and trying to catch up a few seconds. Blocks are very close here. Now they can kill Minsc Boo and me. Yeah, the big Yorion value engine is undeniable in these fair mirrors. I like a tighter package for most of the rest of the metagame, but yeah, we're up against it. This is a tough one for what we're doing. Torpor Orb turns off. Yorion stops the cantrip on Ice Fang Coatl. They have endurances. They are going to have endurances. Primeval Titan. Don't know if that's enough. I like Kozilek's return. They have zombies and snakes. Pyroblast and Hydroblast are both good. Green Sun Zenith is a huge variable in this matchup, because that's a card that you want Force of Will for, but I don't want Force of Will in my deck. I shave some of them, and then I'm going to go a little thinner on Swords to Plowshares as well, which is also tough. Maybe I don't bring in both Pyroblasts because there's already one in the main. The dress down was really good. Pyro and Hydroblast both hit Omnath. Maybe I just bring in 2. Terminus is good. I never saw Uro in that whole game. Not that it mattered. They did have the Minsc Boo at the end. I think I'm going down a dress down here. These cards. Kind of want Carpet of Flowers. Kind of don't really care because they're a Prismatic Ending deck. Really good, though, when it's online. I'm going to do it like this. In we go. I keep this hand with lands and spells in it, featuring Uro, who I just said I hadn't seen last game at all. And I don't really want to lead on Mystic Sanctuary. I do want to hit all my land drops, but Mystic Sanctuary is such a good engine in this deck that I think I just want to use Ponder to try to find those land drops. And success. Basic Island from my opponent. Go from me. Ooh, a target for Wasteland. You don't say. I'm going to cast Uro, see if they Pyroblast it. If they don't, they're getting wasted. Tundra and Volcanic Island. I'm going to get the whole spread while turning on Mystic Sanctuary. If they Pyroblast the front half of Uro, that's pretty aggressive, but it's not unheard of. Oh, we're in there. Hitting you with a Wasteland. Waddle for me, sure, whatever. That was a really good turn. You have another land drop, leaving back the Quaddle. Unfortunately, okay, I can Mystic Sanctuary rebuy Ponder, and then Uro and cast Ponder. I think that's fine. This is holding up Pyroblast throughout. I didn't have enough in the graveyard to Uro this turn, but this gets me set up very nicely. I'm holding Pyro and Hydroblast going into their turn here. Endurance sucks, but I opted out of Force of Will. Another Coatl. Okay, that gives them Death Touch. That's why they did it the way they did it. Makes sense. Cool thing about Dress Down, I can attack with Uro, get my Uro trigger, and then Dress Down, taking the Death Touch off these Coatls, before they get to kill my Uro. Sland. Yeah, taking me off green is actually really bad. My green source is on top of the deck, but it's not two green sources. Yeah, that was a really good Wasteland. My next card down is Force of Will, which I don't want. Waddles have taken me back to 20 life, doing their grim duty. Slowgurk, the Overslime. I don't want to counter this card. It's a lot of card advantage if it ever leaves play, which it will. I'm going to fetch Savannah. Yeah, Savannah is good. On green source. Bummer. Okay, we're passing the turn again, and hyper exposed to Wasteland. That's not a Wasteland. Waddles keep cracking here. They can't cast Endurance or Minsc Boo with the mana they have available. And Zenith for 3, which gets Endurance. I'm gonna Dress Down now. Oh my god, Terminus. Do I want to do this? Guess so. Might as well clear out these Coatls while we're chilling. If they get, like, Leovold here, I can even kill it before it has abilities. Oh, Grist. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. What a green source. Boo. Boo. Blue, green, white. A Grist. And they're back to attacking me with 1/1s. That's disgusting. Can I ever beat this card? Gonna have to. I can't afford to pitch my Blue Blast to Force of Will. They have 3 cards in their hand. I have 3 counter spells in mine. This is how we're going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of mana. Well, I have no choice on this one. Have to Force of Will it. Not beating a Primeval Titan from this spot. Okay, deck. Green source, green source, green source. Oh my god. Set me free. Make my monster grow. I'm going to get Taiga so it doesn't feed the carpet more than it has to. And Uro is in play now. You have Pyroblast if they just go for Yorion plus Flicker on anything, but this mana advantage is serious if they have anything to do with it. They did not make mana with the carpet. Under is going to look for something to spend mana on. Second main, carpet. Did you find a home for your mana? Oh no. Pool full of green sucks, because that means they're going to Zenith. Ugh. How many of those do you play? Well, time to beat a Primeval Titan. It probably gets Field of the Dead and Caracas here. The Caracas neutralizes Uro. I gotta answer Primeval Titan and everything else that's happening. Build their land drop for an extra zombie. Oh. You know what? Yes. Or no. I'm gonna attack first and then hardcast it. Attack. Got a land out of it and some life. And they're taking a bunch of damage over it. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Terminus. Yeah, Terminus has been pretty good. It's hard to argue with that. Life from the Loam would be a great draw right now. Get my Wasteland going, clear the field, then clear the Caracas. They made green again. This is 3 Green Sun Zeniths in 3 turns. Okay, I mean, if every card in your deck is Green Sun Zenith, I can't win. And brainstorming after the Zenith. Another land. Mata Terminuses. That was my big shot for the game. Yeah, we're dead here. Yeah, they just got... The Carpet of Flowers was big. It made those Zeniths just instant kills. but then also just having 3 Zeniths in your 3 or 4 cards you saw over the course of 3 turns. What are you going to do about that? Okay, a 2-3 result with this league. Let's post-mortem this. We beat Stryfo, who was on also 4-color Uro, but splashing black instead of white. I think the white went a long way in that matchup. Swords of Plowshares is a lot better than Assassin's Trophy when you're in a mana ramp Uro mirror. He had to do weird stuff like Cling to Dust to keep up with just the efficiency of Swords of Plowshares. I think we do have a matchup favorability there. We split them against 8-cast. Pretty clean win and then a pretty clean loss. I have a lot of sideboard for 8-cast. The Brotherhood's End is a lot slower than Meltdown. Like really cutting 8-cast off at the knees for 1 mana versus having to get to 3 and it has to be double red, but then you get modality in other matchups. Haven't really borne out how I feel about Brotherhood's End yet. But it's certainly worse against 8-cast. Specifically, obviously, because Meltdown is one of the best things you could ever do against that deck. And we lost to Ad Nauseam Tendrils, where that matchup is bad. There's no way around that. That's just a tough matchup. We don't have Flusterstorm, we don't have Veil of Summer, we don't have anything like that. But my opponent did have to Ad Nauseam and find enough Storm and enough mana to natural Tendrils me without the ability to tutor, because Wishclaw Talisman was turned off by my Oof, and they couldn't get their hand empty for Infernal Tutor under Oof because they can't crack Lion's Eye Diamond. They had to find Rituals and the natural Tendrils, and they did. And, I mean, I did what I could in that matchup. I put Collect Roof into play, started challenging their life total. I had their graveyard angles covered, and they just had me beat. But that is a bad matchup. It's also not a popular matchup, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm not going to nuke my sideboard against the expected metagame just to beat Ad Nauseam Tendrils, which is a deck I've only seen once in months, and it was today. And then we lost to the Zenith build of our own deck, which probably should beat us most of the time. They have bigger spells, they go harder, the game's going to go long. Minsc Boo is really my only eject button to make a game go faster than grinding out into the late game where both players have tons of resources. And my opponent's deck also has Minsc Boo and all the same answers I do. So we lost the matches we should in Storm and Zenith, and we won the match we should in Stryfo, and then we split the close match versus 8-cast. Everything is on expectation here. The Terminuses were great. Dress Downs were solid. Obviously, we played against 8-cast twice. Of course, Dress Down is solid. Still haven't seen White Stompy in a league. I don't know if I love main deck Pyroblast. I might change that. I don't know if I love Brotherhood's End. I might change that. But the rest of this deck looks pretty coherent. I'm into it. I am almost certainly playing something close to this at Eternal Weekend, and if you follow me on Twitter, you will know how that went for me and have seen my list by the time you're seeing this video. Once again, if you want my list before big tournaments, join the Patreon. They're all going to have this basically tomorrow at the time of recording, which is a couple days before Eternal Weekend if they want to play the deck, and I have a sideboard guide posted there too. Good stuff over in the BoshNRoll Patreon. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to sign off with that and go probably sleeve this deck up IRL. Get ready for my trip. I appreciate you all watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all those links in the video description, and I'll see you next time.